Welcome, graduates. Greetings to your families, friends, and significant others, and a hearty hello to our staff, alumni, and faculty. These are the 2021 graduation festivities for the London Society at Harvard Medical School and the Harvard-MIT Division of Health Sciences and Technology. More to the point, HST. Although we had high hopes that we would be able to celebrate in person this year, once again, we are gathered separately and virtually. However, on the positive side, and through the magic of Zoom, this will be truly a global party. My name is Rick Mitchell. As one of the associate directors of HST, I'm thrilled to be asked to host these graduation ceremonies. Since I was among the first people that students met when they arrived at HST, it's also a nice bookend that I can be among the last they hear from on their way out the door. It's also a true honor to don the traditional and now official HST graduation cap. This marks the 20th year that I've worn the cap and tassel, and it never gets old. So my responsibilities here are twofold. Number one, I am batting leadoff on the video you're watching, and I will get the ball rolling by giving you a general overview of the proceedings. Number two, I also get to share with you a few of my own thoughts and hopefully leave you with an incidental word of wisdom or two. The lineup after me includes some very heavy hitters in the pantheon of Harvard and MIT faculty. Coincidentally, they are also HST graduates themselves. In a moment, you will hear from the Dean of Harvard Medical School, Professor George Daly, who in turn will pass the baton to Professor Elazar Edelman, the Director of the Institute of Medical Engineering and Science, the home for HST within MIT. Finally, to round out the lineup of speakers, we will be treated to the wit and wisdom of Adithya Kaluri, a graduate of the HST program, an MD-PhD student who is representing his classmates. Thereafter, we have an HST tradition of introducing each of the graduates and recognizing their achievements and future plans. That will involve help from HST co-directors June Kamihara, Matthew Frosh, Daniel Solomon, Julie Greenberg, Martha Gray, and Emery Brown. It truly takes a village. This year, Director Wolfram Gessling will unfortunately not be participating. However, he will be tuning in and rooting enthusiastically as he recovers from his recent surgery and medical treatments. And Wolfram, there you go. All told, we will have a bumper crop of graduates this year, with 47 total students primed and ready to leave the mothership. And then finally, we can get to the real reason everyone is tuned in, to raise a toast and cheer wildly as the new alumni emerge victorious from the clutches of Harvard and MIT. Okay, so that's the game plan. At this point in the script, Patty Cunningham, the true heart and soul of HST, has simply written, Rick makes some comments and tells a few jokes. So I'm on. As an HST faculty member, I've had the privilege to teach most of these students, and I must say, they've given better than they got, constantly challenging us to learn more, and more importantly, to rethink what we thought we already knew. I've also had the pleasure to get to know a lot of the students outside of the classroom in the laboratory, from the ones who've been with us for the traditional 4 or 5 years to those on the get your money's worth extended plan. Through everything we could throw at them, they've thrived and they've succeeded. And like a turtle on the top of a fence post, It's pretty clear they didn't get here all by themselves. I thank all you parents and friends and loved ones for molding such amazing and amazingly resilient women and men, and for graciously sharing them with us for a while. Okay, so much for the serious stuff and on to the so-called humor. Last year at this time, we were only 3 months into the COVID siege, and my commencement comments were all about the silver linings. More time with family, less traffic on the roads, and all the abandoned dogs and cats that got adopted. We celebrated the graduates as they moved onto the front lines in the hospitals, or started postdocs or jobs that initially involved navigating the brave new world of Zoom. And then, before you knew it, we were 6 months into the pandemic. And then, before you knew it, we were 6 months and 2 weeks into the pandemic. And then, before you knew it, we were 6 months, 2 weeks, and a day. You get the picture. Suddenly, all that quality family time was getting a little claustrophobic, and the enforced hunkering down was a bit oppressive for all but the most committed hermit among us. It was a real-life Groundhog's Day. We have now been held hostage for 15 months by a teeny tiny protein spike ball of RNA. SARS-CoV-2 kept us out of our labs and our classrooms. It kept us masked up and physically distanced. Yes, we adapted and got accustomed to new normal, but there has been no singing, no hugging, and no socializing. That's really hard for the party animals that many of us are. So what to say about this graduation? Well, this year feels like a big, humongous renewal. There's a new moon out there. The lotus blossom is in full bloom. The phoenix is rising out of the ashes. The COVID tornado has moved on, and we can finally emerge from the storm shelter, blinking into the light. What a shot in the arm that is. Pun very much intended. And how exactly did this happen? We followed the science. We embraced innovation, and we persevered. There was also commitment, some false starts, some amazing leaps, a bit of luck, long days and weeks and months, and a lot of money, just like your time in HST. So, the COVID pandemic, not just something that will be forever linked with your time in the academic trenches, but also a metaphor for how good science wins in the end. So congratulations on what you've already accomplished. Be galvanized and ready for what comes next. The world is going to need you for all the coming challenges. And next, when you see me in this video, you'll know that we will be almost done. So get your champagne corks ready to go. And now I'd like to welcome to the virtual podium the Dean of Harvard Medical School, Professor George Daly.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Mitchell. It's my honor as Dean of Harvard Medical School and a proud alumnus of this program to welcome you to this wonderful celebration. HST graduates, family, friends, alumni, faculty, and staff, thank you for joining us today. And to the HST class of 2021, congratulations. You have successfully completed a program that is the crown jewel of biomedical research education at Harvard and MIT. It's also the longest-running partnership between our institutions and one of the oldest and most prestigious interdisciplinary educational programs focused on translational medical science and engineering. You now join a close-knit community of some of the most accomplished clinician scientists and biomedical engineers working today. Among them are chairs and chiefs in academic medicine, CEOs and senior leaders at pharmaceutical and biotech companies, and alumni responsible for countless groundbreaking innovations. I'm sure that the past year has not been anything like you expected it to be when you started the program. You have all had to be resilient, resourceful, and steadfast as you work to complete this course of study under the challenges brought on by the pandemic. And we are truly proud of you. All of us have had to work together, separated by distance but united in purpose, to confront an unprecedented health crisis. As HST MD graduates, we share the privilege of having obtained an education that few others will ever have. And the world has never needed your skills and your dedication more than it needs them today. Even as you were completing your degrees under extremely challenging conditions, you rose to meet that need. A number of you were involved with COVID-19 community service projects at our hospitals, at Boston Healthcare for the Homeless, and at the Crimson Care Collaborative. Some of you worked on the COVID-19 Outpatient Pulse Oximetry Initiative or other research projects, while others developed 3D printed frames for N95 masks. Still others helped develop the medical school COVID-19 curriculum. One group worked on clinical guidelines for COVID patients on immunosuppressive medications, and two of you even co-authored a children's book about the coronavirus. It's no exaggeration to state that you are among the most talented and accomplished students in the world. You've changed lives in the clinic, published foundational papers, developed new technologies, founded companies, and along the way, won numerous fellowships and awards. This year's class of medical engineering and medical physics PhD graduates includes NSF graduate fellows and NIH fellowship recipients, as well as MIT presidential fellows. The list is long and impressive, and I risk leaving some out, but suffice it to say, you have all made immeasurable contributions to HST, and we are sincerely grateful. You've achieved much through your collective brilliance and talent, but also through your earnestness, hard work, humility, and integrity. Now, you have earned the responsibility to practice and add to what you have learned, and to return to the world all the tremendous privileges and opportunities you have been given. Class of 2021, I cannot wait to see what you will accomplish. I look forward to your continued success. Once again, congratulations. And with that, I cede the virtual podium to Dr. Elazar Edelman, Director of the Institute for Medical Engineering and Science, HST's home at MIT.
Thank you, Dean Daly, for your warm remarks and all you've done for us in these trying times. Welcome, graduates, welcome, parents, welcome, community. Our family is about tradition, and yet there is a very important tradition that our family doesn't keep. Jewish parents classically recite the following blessing at a bar or bat mitzvah celebration. Baruch shepatrani me'ha'on shel ha'azeh. Blessed are we who have passed on the burden of this obligation. For when a child has reached the age of personal obligation, self-dependence, and is no longer under the direct tutelage of the parent feels free of obligation. My mother would never say this, and none of our family did either, as there's no greater honor, no greater blessing or higher order than teaching. Nothing students can do by way of mistake, no misstep or communication of children, she felt, would warrant punishment that a parent or a teacher has to assume. The proper blessing, she insisted, is of renewed commitment, for it is precisely when students and children have passed to self-dependence that our obligations as teachers become even more transcendent. It is at the precise time that we hand you the car keys and tell you that we trust you that our responsibility is greater than before. My mother held that everything in a student's past is our honor and our blessing. You, my dear students, have been in front of us, you have taught us, you have shown us, and you will continue to do so. We are confident that you will care for us as we age and change the world for all of humanity, now and for all time to come. We are delighted that you have allowed us to share in your pursuit of greatness, and will be here forever for you. Our role is not simply to allow you to move on, but to be there to assist whenever possible. And if there's any evidence that you will not be neglected, it is that today you become official members of our Alumni Association, which means that you will not only be assigned an alumni email account and regularly receive an alumni newsletter, but it also means that even if you want to, you cannot hide. The AA is the greatest spy agency in the world. We will always know where you live, we'll always know your phone number, and we will always find you. Every email you get from us relating the wonderful things that are going on in HST and IMES will also explain how you can support our mission with your donation. So, my message to you is simple. I cannot wait to see what you do next. If you ever need us, you know where to find us. And know well that we will be keeping close tabs on you, supporting you whenever we can, reveling in your accomplishments, and celebrating alongside you every step of the way. In keeping with this, it's now my honor to introduce as class speaker one of my children and teachers, Adithya Kaluri.
Thank you very much, Elazar, for that kind introduction, for your service as the director of IMES, and more personally, as my PhD advisor. My name is Adithya Kaluri. I'm one of the graduates from the HST MD class this year. And first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to my fellow graduates from the MD, PhD, GEMS program, and throughout HST. We, the class of 2021, are a class that's had an opportunity to witness some real milestones in HST history, including the 50th anniversary of HST in 2020, as well as being one of the last classes that had the good fortune to interact with Dr. London before he sadly passed away in 2018. Now we're graduating during a singular time with a remote celebration that has the tough job of bringing together our diverse and widely flung community, while also summarizing what HST has meant to us and what it will mean to us going forward into the future. So in thinking about what features made HST special to us and what we can take away from it as graduates, I thought first and most concretely about the people who compose HST. HST is made of exceptional people who deserve our thanks as the graduates, including but not limited to the leadership: Emery Brown, Wolfram Gosling, Elazar Edelman, Matthew Frosh, Rick Mitchell, June Kamihara, Dan Solomon, Julie Greenberg, the administrators, Patty Cunningham, Kate Hodgins, Carol Altarejos, Tracy Anderson, Lori Ward, Joseph Stein, Megan Wong, our faculty and research advisors, our classmates and peers, and the extended HST community consisting of our friends, families, and loved ones. Whatever the class of 2021 has accomplished would have been impossible without their support. And when we think of our time at HST, we will be thinking of them. Going forward, they're going to be our role models for our future careers. This is true in the direct sense. They taught us how to be clinicians, how to be scientists, and we're going to use those skills each and every day going forward. But also in the indirect sense. In our time here, they've shown us what it means to support the next generation of clinicians and scientists. And when we become the mentors of the next generation, we're going to be using the skills that they modeled for us. All of you know who your mentors and role models were while you were at HST, and they're going to represent both your time here and who you're going to be going forward. So I hope you'll think of them now. Second, HST represents an approach. It represents an approach to science, an approach based on building bridges between academic communities, which was the reason for its founding more than 50 years ago. Every HST graduate during our time here has built an academic path by bringing together advisors, resources, and peers from the disparate institutes of MIT, Harvard, and the hospitals. It was challenging at times for us to navigate so many different systems, but in surmounting that challenge, we've gained the skill of communicating fluently with many different groups that all have their own languages, their own priorities, and their own mindsets in order to seek a common goal. Because HST values and builds this skill, every graduate is going to be a skilled communicator between diverse groups. And whatever we do next, whether it's clinical work, science, industry, or something else entirely, the mindset to seek out and build collaborations is a core HST tenet that we'll carry with us. Thirdly, and most abstractly, HST is an idea. It was founded on the idea that innovation is driven by drawing insights from a broad array of fields. The idea was that training future doctors to think like quantitative scientists and training future scientists to think like clinicians would produce students capable of translating problems and tool sets to new fields in unexpected ways. Throughout our training, we're all familiar with the nagging idea at the back of your mind, whether you're in the clinic or in lab or in a classroom, that what you're learning just might be relevant to a problem that came up in a completely different context, in a completely different building, half a city away. This is HST's most valuable lesson, regardless of what we do next, whether clinicians, scientists, both, something else. We know that all important problems are informed by many fields, and when we seek to solve them, we will have the confidence to draw wisdom from many disciplines. So as we move on to next steps, I think the HST class of 2021 should seek to emulate our mentors and friends, the people of HST, to build bridges between discrete communities, the philosophy of HST, and to innovate using diverse perspectives, the core idea of HST. And I think that will help us crystallize what we've learned here and carry it into the future. Thank you very much, and congratulations to the class of 2021.
My name is Matthew Frosh, and I'm one of the Associate Directors of the Health Sciences and Technology program. I chair the HST MD Admissions Committee, and in that role had the pleasure of calling each of the accepted MD students on the day they learned they had a position at Harvard Medical School. At graduation, we have a tradition of sharing information about each of our graduating students. This will give you a sense of the depth and breadth of this remarkable class, and we think that you will enjoy learning more about them. We will begin with the students graduating from the MD program at HST's Medical Sciences program, which trains physician scientists. I, along with my colleagues, Associate Directors June Kamihara and Daniel Solomon, will share the reading duties for the MD students. Uday Aggarwal, graduating magna cum laude. Uday was a Howard Hughes Medical Institute Student Research Fellow. He received the International Society for Magnetic Resonance in Medicine Magna Cum Laude Award and the ISMRM Trainee Stipend Award. He enjoyed playing intramural soccer and serving as one of the Introduction to Clinical Medicine course teaching assistants. His most memorable HST moment was running a food marathon with many HST friends. Uday looks forward to his anesthesia residency at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Batu Ismir, graduating cum laude. Batu's research centered on why some patients are started on vasopressors in the emergency room. He coordinated care for a Turkish child with spinal muscular atrophy. Batu enjoys cooking, Boston architecture from 1960 to 1975, the history of video game development, and the history of Japanese printmaking. He will fondly remember trips to MIT during the preclinical years. Batu is heading for training in emergency medicine at Western Michigan University Stryker in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Eric Bao, graduating magna cum laude. Eric was a Howard Hughes Medical Institute Medical Research Fellow and received the American Society of Hematology Opportunities for the Next Generation of Research Scientists Award. He was also the recipient of 2 graduation prizes, the Leon Resnick Memorial Prize for Research, and the 2021 Seidman Prize for Outstanding HST Senior Medical Student Thesis. He was an interviewer for the HST MD Admissions Program, thank you, Eric, and participated in the student-run Crimson Care Collaborative at several sites. He enjoyed pickup basketball, hiking, and exploring Boston restaurants with his girlfriend, now wife. His most memorable HST moment was participating in the HST group dance at the HMS Society Olympics. Eric is headed for residency in internal medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. Elizabeth Byrne, graduating cum laude. Elizabeth performed mucosal immunology research on the female genital tract. She has served locally at multiple homeless programs, including the Harvard Square Homeless Shelter, Boston Healthcare for the Homeless Program, and internationally working at CAPRISA, the Center for AIDS Program of Research in South Africa. Her most memorable HST moments were anatomy group bonding during their many hours of dissection. She looks forward to her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at the combined Brigham and Women's Massachusetts General Hospital program. Anne Cathcart also received the PhD from Harvard University. Annie was a Louis Lang III MD PhD scholar in translational research at Harvard Medical School and held F30 Ruth L. Kirchstein and St. Baldrick's fellowships. She earned the Derek Bach Center Distinction in Teaching Award and was a resident tutor at Cabot House, a Harvard undergraduate house, for 4 years. She enjoys spending time with her husband Bub, her son Paul, and dog Boone. Annie is looking forward to moving down the street from her family in Portland, Oregon, and starting her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Oregon Health and Sciences University. John Cermsack. John explored genomic changes in bone matter disorders as an HST student working in the lab of Dr. Ben Ebert at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. He earned co-authorship on papers in Blood and Blood Advances. He also served as co-leader of the Healthcare Management Interest Group at HMS. He'll carry forward many fond memories of outings with HST classmates. John's enjoyment of the first-year HST Human Anatomy course and fascination with the human skull that students were given to take home to study led to his ultimate career decision in ENT. He looks forward to residency in otolaryngology at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Catherine Redfield Chan, graduating magna cum laude. Katie earned a number of awards, including the Roger G. Mark Outstanding Service Award from HST and the Judah Folkman Prize for Clinical Translational Science Research. She was president of the Student Well-Being Interest Group and events chair for graduate women at MIT. Her most memorable HST moment was realizing that Constance Wu could be convinced to do anything when tempted with the promise of arts and crafts, which started a tradition of Bob Ross nights, bookmaking, drawing classes, hair dyeing, and general shenanigans that were always the highlight of her week. After graduation, she looks forward to her anesthesia residency at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, and finally meeting her no longer so new COVID cutie of a nephew. Jacob Donahue also received a PhD from MIT. Jake won first prize in the Swiss Next startup competition and received funding from Mass Challenge, a global zero-equity startup accelerator, and from the MIT Sandbox, which supports student innovation. He enjoyed sailing on the Charles and rock climbing. His most memorable HST moment was during the pig lab. He got to practice his cardiac massage and see and feel the wonders of physiology up close. Jake has founded a startup, Beacon Biosignals, where their team is building an AI platform for EEG that enables and accelerates new treatments for patients with neurological and psychiatric disease. Sanaan Ibrahim also received the PhD from Harvard University, graduating magna cum laude. Sanaan was the recipient of a Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship, an NIH F31 Fellowship, and the Harvard Star Family Prize. He founded Hikma Health to create free and open source health data software for refugees around the world. His favorite HST moment was Adithya Kaluri rapping HST with rhymes at the Society Olympics. Post-graduation, Sanaan will be leading Delphina, a startup creating technologies to transform prenatal care.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is June Kamihara. I am the HST Associate Director for MD Student Advising. I will be reading the next set of MD graduating student vignettes. Jennifer Yahweh Ga also received the PhD from Harvard University. Jennifer held several fellowships, including an NIH NCI F30, an HMS SF MNT for students of Chinese descent, and a Dana-Farber Cancer Institute MD-PhD fellowship. She enjoys painting, playing music, yoga, and hanging out with her very good dog, Arnold. Her most memorable HST moment was painting the banner for the HMS Society Olympics 2014, Scientific Hustle, Everyone Hustles to Publish. Jennifer is heading toward residency in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. David Gutenberg also received the PhD from Harvard University. David completed his MD in the HST program and his PhD in the HMS Virology program in the lab of Doug Kwon, studying HIV and the gut microbiome. Among the recognition his work received was an HIV Medicine Association Medical Student Award and an NHL BI F30 Ruth L. Kirstein National Research Service Award. He has too many memorable HST experiences to just name one, but he deeply appreciates the community of peers, faculty, and staff and all the support they gave him during his time in HST. He will be joining his wife in pediatrics residency at the combined Boston Children's Hospital, Boston Medical Center program, and is excitedly anticipating their new baby this summer. Sharon Grossman also received the PhD from MIT, graduating magna cum laude. Sherry did her PhD work in computational and systems biology in Eric Lander's lab. She enjoys running, yoga, traveling, and recently took up baking. Her favorite HMS memory is of post-anatomy pizza at Penguins in Brigham Circle. Post-graduation, Sherry will take up residency in internal medicine at MGH and eventually would like to have a basic science lab and clinical practice. James Harris also received the PhD from Harvard University. James was the recipient of NIH and Harvard Stem Cell Institute training fellowships. He enjoyed playing on HST IM soccer teams and sailing on the Charles. His favorite HST memory was HMS Society Olympics, where their theme was the rolling histones. James is looking forward to his ophthalmology residency at Mass Eye and Ear in Boston. Thomas Howard also received the PhD from Harvard University. Tom received the HST Outstanding Teaching Award and the Harvard-MIT MD-PhD program Outstanding Big SIB Award. He was an American Association for Cancer Research Scholar in Training in 2019. He served as a much-respected HST teaching assistant for the HST Human Pathology course, was a Graduate Commons Program Community Advisor, and participated on the HST MD Admissions Committee. His favorite HST moment was when Matt Baum saved the class procrastinators by personally flying their autopsy reports to Rick in Reno, Nevada. Tom is headed for a preliminary medicine internship at Brigham and Women's Hospital, followed by residency at the Harvard Radiation Oncology program. Anthony Jang. Anthony conducted research in computational neuroscience, where he used an artificial intelligence model to better understand decision-making processes in humans. He received an HMS Graduation Prize, the Sergei Sanger Award for this work. He fondly remembers Group M2 rides to MIT, sailing the Charles with classmates, and Dr. Kettle's TSH to HST transitions. After graduation, Anthony will be a research resident in psychiatry at UCLA. Mark Kalanich also received the PhD from Harvard University. Mark was a Ruth L. Kirstein Individual Predoctoral National Research Service Award F30 recipient, as well as a Medical Scientist Training Program grant recipient. During his tenure in HST, he co-founded Watershed Informatics, was an MIT graduate resident tutor from 2014 to 2017, and an MD-PhD Grand Rounds organizer. His most memorable HST moment was watching poor Johanna's face as she realized she was stuck with Sanaan, Adithya, and him at the bro anatomy table. After graduation, Mark will build Watershed Informatics, a startup to democratize access to bioinformatics tools for biologists that he co-founded at the end of his PhD. Adithya Kaluri also received the PhD from Harvard University. Adithya was a teaching assistant for the HST Cardiovascular Pathophysiology course, a head writer for the 2014 second-year show, and a member of the HMS Post-PCE Curriculum Subcommittee. His PhD work was partially supported by an American Heart Association predoctoral fellowship. His most memorable HST moments include his class's choreographed rap battle during Society Olympics and the HST 090 Animal Laboratory. After graduating, he will be pursuing residency in pediatrics at Boston Children's Hospital. Nicholas Kwok, graduating cum laude. Nicholas received a research award at the American College of Physicians Massachusetts Annual Scientific Meeting. He was a member of the HMS Venture Ideation and Creation Team and the Greater Boston Pandemic Fabrication Team. He also enjoyed sailing and kayaking on the Charles River. His most memorable HST moment was playing Frisbee with his friends at HST barbecues. He's excited to start internal medicine residency at Cedars-Sinai this coming summer.
My name is Daniel Solomon, and I'm the Associate Director of Clinical Learning. I'll be reading the final group of graduating MD student vignettes. Jeff Yujong Meng also received the PhD from Harvard University. Jeff received a grant from the Melanoma Research Foundation for his PhD work in melanoma genomics and immunotherapy. He served as a research mentor and pre-med mentor to undergraduates and co-authored the HMS Online COVID-19 curriculum. His most memorable HST moments include hand-pumping a pig's heart and listening to Shiv recite his poems about immunology. After graduation, he will pursue a transitional year at Cambridge Health Alliance, followed by radiation oncology residency at Memorial Sloan Kettering. David Reshef also received the PhD from MIT, graduating magna cum laude. David was a recipient of a Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship, as well as a National Science Foundation Graduate Fellowship for his research in machine learning. He was a resident tutor in science and math at Eliot House, and helped lead Harvard to its first national championship game in Ultimate Frisbee. David's fondest HST memories are of the early walks and many late-night conversations during first year that formed some of his dearest friendships. Oh, and dancing in the Moonlight in TMEC, somewhere between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. David will be heading to residency in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Abby Schiff also received a PhD from Harvard University. Abby served as MD chair of the HST Joint Student Council. She won Best Cancer Hack and Best Chronic Disease Hack at Hacking Medicine's Grand Hack, and she was an Idea Squared competition participant with Echo Diagnostics. She served as chair for Outreach for the Medical Student COVID-19 curriculum, was the founder of the MIT Cost Effectiveness Healthcare Initiative, and the medical education chair of the Crimson Care Collaborative, Chelsea. She enjoyed singing with the Technology Square Chorale. Her favorite HST moment was convincing Shiv to dress up as HIV and acting out Shiv, infecting a CD4 T-cell for the Society Olympics photo contest. Abby is joining the internal medicine residency program at the Brigham and Women's Hospital. Irini Sidhom also received the PhD from Harvard University. Irini was the recipient of NIH F30 predoctoral training and National Defense Science and Engineering graduate fellowships. She made the 2021 Forbes 30 Under 30 in Healthcare list. She enjoyed running with friends and TAing for the HST Renal Pathophysiology course. Her most memorable HST moments were seeing many of her classmates' talents shine through writing an HST-themed rap and painting their banner for the Society Olympics. After graduation, she starts a residency in internal medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital. Mac Su also received the PhD from Harvard University. Mac was the recipient of an NIH F30 fellowship, as well as a Landry Cancer Biology Research Fellowship. He enjoyed running along the Charles River and exploring North End restaurants with his wife. He cherished having the opportunity to spend time at home with his daughter during fourth year. Mac is looking forward to a preliminary medicine internship at Brigham and Women's Hospital, followed by a dermatology residency at the Harvard Combined Program in Boston. Swan Tuang also received the PhD from MIT. Tuang's most memorable HST moment was being part of the microbiome study with his HST classmates, where they somehow convinced about 60 HST students to get on Ensure-only diet and collect their own microbiome sample every day for an entire week. He will always fondly remember nights in TMEC 209 playing NBA 2K and NFL Madden on Sebastian's Xbox. He would like to give a big shout out to Rick and Patty for being the best cheerleaders one could ever ask for. After graduation, Tuang will take up a position as biotech analyst at Eventide Asset Management in Boston. Adrian Varesh also received the PhD from Harvard University and graduating magna cum laude. Adrian received an HSCI Medical Scientist Training Fellowship. He served as an Eliot House resident tutor at Harvard College and pre-medical committee co-chair. He co-created and co-taught a new undergraduate computational biology course with fellow HSTer Iran Hodis. He also co-founded Dino Therapeutics. His most memorable HST moment was Anatomy Lab, particularly when a teammate invited their courageous spouse to a session. Adrian looks forward to performing postdoctoral research at Harvard University after graduation. Constance Wu, graduating cum laude. Constance was a co-chair for the HST Joint Student Council and also served on HST's MD Admission Committee. She received the Samuel E. Lux Fellowship to research metastatic melanoma in Leonard Zahn's laboratory. She also enjoyed pursuing art throughout medical school, and her portfolio includes co-creating a children's book on COVID-19, drawing over 400 graphics to summarize medical research, and reflecting on her clinical experiences through comics. Her most memorable HST experience was creating the banner for HMS's 2017 Society Olympics with her classmates. After graduating, Constance will be returning home to California to join UCSF's internal medicine residency program. Xiaoling Yu, graduating magna cum laude. Xiaoling received an HMS SFMNT scholarship for students of Chinese descent, a Harvard Medical School Scholars in Medicine Research Fellowship, and an A. Clifford Barger Scholarship. She performed research in CAR T-cell therapy for glioblastoma with Dr. Marcella Maus and Dr. Brian Choi at MGH. She was a teaching assistant for ICM and a volunteer at the Crimson Care Collaborative. Her favorite HST memory was practicing for the group dance at the Society Olympics. She looks forward to residency in internal medicine at UPenn and getting married in early June.
My name is Emery Brown, and I'm the MIT co-director of the HST program. Our next graduates are receiving the PhD degree from HST. The HST Medical Engineering and Medical Physics PhD program brings together medicine with engineering and science. Director of Education Julie Greenberg and I will share the reading duties for the PhD students. Mindy Bishop. Mindy was a 2018 MIT Energy Fellow. She was awarded a 2020 Takeda Fellowship and was a 2020 finalist for the Regeron Prize for Creative Innovation. Outside of her PhD work, Mindy enjoys spending time with her wonderful 9-year-old and also philosophizing about consciousness and spirituality. Thinking back on her HST experience, Mindy fondly remembers a moment during pathology class when Dr. Padera put his hand on her shoulder after noticing she was having a hard time with the autopsy. After graduation, Mindy plans on conducting postdoctoral research before founding a startup company. Lucas Cahill. Lucas was awarded a National Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada postgraduate scholarship, a Tamir Medical Engineering Graduate Fellowship, and he received a Pathologist in Training Award from the Renal Pathology Society. His favorite moments in the HST program were helping patients during the Introduction to Clinical Medicine course. Lucas was active in local community, volunteering as a high school math and science tutor in Cambridge. He also enjoyed playing various intramural sports, including ice and floor hockey. Having graduated with a PhD, Lucas plans on continuing his studies and attending medical school. George Chow. George was an MIT Presidential Fellow. He received an MIT Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Award and a Northwell Health Innovation Award at the Empire State Opioid Epidemic Innovation Challenge. George enjoys travel and taught engineering workshops in Moscow and Tomsk with the MIT International Science and Technology Innovation Program, and traveled to Durban, South Africa with the medical school Transmed program to learn about HIV and TB fieldwork. Like many, George's most memorable moments were during the Introduction to Clinical Medicine course at the West Roxbury VA Hospital. The highs, such as helping a patient struggling with alcoholism get back on their feet and find placement in rehab, reminded him of the intensely personal and impactful nature of medicine. While the lows, such as watching an apparently healthy patient suddenly transferred to the ICU, embody the enormous gap in knowledge that still remains in clinical care. George will be joining the lab of George Daly as a postdoctoral researcher to work on engineering hematopoietic stem cells to help treat blood diseases. Max Cutler. Max was an MIT Presidential Fellow and held a National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. He participated in HST 590 all 5 years of his program, the last 3 years serving as the course's teaching assistant. Max was a member of the MIT Biotech Group and part of the Controlled Release Society, where he was the 2020 winner of the Society's Virtual Flash Talks. Diagnosing a patient by himself on the last day of Introduction to Clinical Medicine was a highlight of his PhD program. After graduation, Max will work on R&D strategy and operations at a startup company. In addition, he'll be getting married in 2022. Avinash Kramer. For his work on portable X-ray devices, Avinash was the recipient of the American Association of Physicists in Medicine Young Investigator Award in 2018. Subsequently, his research on N95 sterilization helped inform hospital policy during the early months of the coronavirus pandemic. An enthusiastic rock climber, ski mountaineer, and environmental advocate, and former MIT Outing Club president, Avinash now works as a polar scientist in New Mexico Tech and anticipates being deployed to Antarctica in October. Ang Sui. Ang held an MIT Whitaker Health Sciences Fund PhD Fellowship, an MIT Wellington and Irene Lowe Fund PhD Fellowship, and a Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada PhD Fellowship. She served as the chair of the MIT Graduate Student Conference Travel Grant Program and as a board member of the HST Joint Council. Ang had many opportunities to travel during her PhD program and went to Japan with MIT Innovation Discovery Japan, to India with Misty India, and to Navajo Nation with HST. One in-classroom highlight was practicing drawing blood with HST professors in pathology. Ang will go on to do postdoctoral research in immunology. Aditi Gupta. Aditi spent many years working on issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, both within HST and across MIT. She was one of the original HST Diversity Ambassadors, a group which was recognized with an MIT Bridge Builder Award. As the head of the MIT Global Startup Workshop, Aditi traveled to India, Chile, Thailand, and Colombia to plan and host workshops, and even got to meet the president of Colombia. Participating in the Introduction to Clinical Medicine course was her favorite and most memorable part of HST. The opportunity to learn how to take care of patients and working with the amazing staff at the Mount Auburn Hospital ICU was a most fulfilling, illuminating, and humbling experience. Aditi is currently a postdoc in the Scientific Citizenship Initiative at Harvard Medical School. In the fall, she'll start an American Association for the Advancement of Science and Technology Policy Fellowship, where she will work on issues related to the impacts of technology on society.
My name is Julie Greenberg, and I'm HST's Director of Education. I will introduce the final set of MEMP PhD graduates. Swati Kataria. Swati received a Takeda Fellowship and served as the Secretary of GWAMIT, Graduate Women at MIT, for 2 years. She participated in numerous theater and dance productions at Harvard, MIT, and in the Cambridge community. Her most memorable HST moments included the clinical training experience with her batchmates. She will always cherish the shared experiences, reflections, and group bonding of that time. Swati will continue as a postdoctoral fellow at the MIT Koch Institute for Integrative Cancer Research for the summer.
David Miranda.
David held a National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship and was awarded a Martha Gray Prize for Excellence in Research at the 2018 HST Forum poster session. He was a member of the HST Joint Council and MIT's Global Startup Workshop. David enjoyed participating in MIT intramural sports and caring for patients during the Intro to Clinical Medicine course. David has launched an aquaculture tech startup in Puerto Rico that aims to enable a seafood revolution in the Caribbean, guaranteed food security, and foster economic development. John Samuelsson. John held a Sweden America Fellowship, was awarded a National Institutes of Health F32 Fellowship, and earned a 2019 Outstanding Trainee Award from the National Institutes of Health, MEG North America. Working at the Martino Center, John spent much of his extracurricular time commuting to and from Charlestown. One favorite HST memory was going to Cape Cod for the HST student retreat during his first year. After graduation, John plans on hiking the King's Trail in Lapland, northern Sweden, and then conducting postdoctoral research at Harvard Medical School. Hyun-Ho Greco Song. Greco was awarded a Martha Gray Prize for Excellence in Research at the 2017 HST Forum and was an invited speaker at 5 international conferences. He was a member of Redline, Boston's young professional a cappella group, and helped 2 biotech venture funds and 1 startup. One highlight of his HST PhD program was helping to deliver 2 newborns overnight during the clinical medicine course at Mount Auburn Hospital. Greco is currently an equity research associate at Silicon Valley Bank Leerlink, analyzing biotech stocks for investors. Anne Pagula Trazansky. Anne was active in the MIT community as a bartender at the Muddy Charles Pub, where she enjoyed getting to know different members of the MIT community, including many graduate students, as well as undergraduates, professors, alumni, maintenance staff, librarians, and more. In HST, she enjoyed working with faculty and alumni as a student interviewer during the PhD admissions process. Anne's research involves statistical methods for ultrasound signal analysis. After completing her thesis, Anne joined the Boston Consulting Group, where she's excited to apply the analytical skills she developed at MIT. Elise Wilcox. Elise was a 2019 MIT Graduate Women of Excellence honoree. She participated in the MIT Graduate Student Leadership Institute and was an MIT Impact Program Fellow. Elise was very active in the MIT community, serving on the MIT Grad Sage Leadership Subcommittee and as an HST PhD admissions interviewer. She was also the goalkeeper coach for MIT women's varsity soccer team during the 2015-2016 seasons. Additionally, Elise was the program director for Gap Summit 2019, a student-led international biotech conference. One highlight of her time in HST was bonding with fellow MEMP students during the Intro to Clinical Medicine course, while gaining a new perspective on the practice of medicine. After a decade on the East Coast, Elise will move back to the Pacific Northwest and conduct postdoctoral research at the Fred Hutch Cancer Research Institute in Seattle, Washington. She also plans to get her private pilot's license over the summer.
Hello, I'm Martha Gray, co-director of the HST Graduate Education in Medical Sciences, or GEMS, training program. Our final candidates are graduating from GEMS, which is a part-time certificate program that can be taken concurrently with doctoral studies and research by students in the MIT Schools of Engineering and Science to gain exposure to biomedical and clinical sciences, including translational medicine. Max Louis Olander. Among his honors, Max held the 2020 MathWorks Engineering Fellowship, a 2019 William Asbjornson Albert Memorial Fellowship, and a 2018 Whitaker Health Sciences Fund Fellowship. He was named a 2016 Forbes Under 30 Scholar and awarded a blue ribbon at the 2019 Northwestern Michigan Fair, the top award in the category of Wood Article Machine Carved. Max participated in several policy groups at MIT, including the MIT Graduate Student Leadership Institute and the IEEE Global Public Policy Committee. He was president of the MIT Science Policy Initiative and the associate editor of the Journal of Science Policy and Governance. Max was also a member of the MIT Maker Workshop and led trips with the Outing Club. His favorite HST experience was the Cardiovascular Pathophysiology Animal Lab. Max earned his PhD in mechanical engineering this year and will spend the coming year as a Science and Technology Policy Fellow in the U.S. Congress, helping to research and draft legislation and provide input on policy review and oversight. Morteza Sarmadi. Advised by Bob Langer, Morteza is an aspiring biotech entrepreneur who is passionate about clinical translation of biomedical technologies which can have an impact on lives of patients. Concurrent with his PhD in the mechanical engineering program, he has completed 3 graduate certificate programs at MIT, namely GEMS in HST and 2 programs at Sloan in healthcare and business analytics. As of June 2021, he will have 20 publications and numerous awards, including winning the first place in MIT Harvard-supported Activate Bio program in 2020. In his free time, Morteza enjoys oil painting, working out, and listening to music. Morteza expects to complete his PhD this fall.
I'm back. So get that champagne poured. A toast. To all of our graduates, I join with your families and friends in wishing you many years of success and discovery. May your gratification be no longer delayed. May all your experiments work perfectly at least twice. And may all your grants be funded on the first cycle. May all your intellectual property be recognized for its genius, and all your entrepreneurial ventures be richly supported by angels. May all your nights on call be filled with sleep. And may all of your loan officers at the bank lose your addresses. Congratulations on a job well done and a journey well begun.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Hey, you
Congratulations!
Congratulations! You did it!
So proud of you!
Congratulations!